Hello, everyone. This is Azraelis. We are back again, and today we're going to be going ahead and taking a look at another one of my builds here. Uh, this is going to be very similar to Azure Level. I believe I came out with that one. I don't remember if it actually made it out before my other hard drive died, but it is a caster class. I am going to tell you right now, if you're looking for the tip-top, tippity-tip-tip-top kind of damage dealing, going into a singular build is going to probably be the best for you, especially in like arcane or fire. Both of those are going to be very, very good. Fire is very strong because of hot streak. So this doesn't have anything to do with our build right now, but fire does have a hot streak, which is a big, big deal. Getting free pyroblast procs, all you really got to do is just get a high enough crit. Wow, that's loud. I did not expect it to be that loud. Okay. Uh, but this build is not only very fun, it's also performing pretty much just as well as all of the other ones. But in way, way into the end game, where you're out there and you're like in a raiding group or something, you might find better capabilities in something like a fire build or a straight arcane build or something like that. Uh, but this build is actually a mixture of shadow, fire, and frost. And I know the very first thing you're going to say is you're going to say you're spreading yourself way too thin, you're not going to do enough damage. Wrong. And I'll show you why. Uh, when you look at the first thing you need to do when you're looking at spreading out your damage, you need to look at what is the cheapest thing that you can get that's going to be able to reach the maximum amount of damage that it's capable of. Okay? And that's going to be Shadow Bolt. Hands down. No ifs, ands, or buts. The only other thing in the entirety of this game, or in WoW in general, that's going to increase the damage of your Shadow Bolt comes from Priest in Shadow, going with Shadow form. And also, there's a thing called Darkness, which is in Affliction. You can absolutely do that if you want to. Nightfall is what I mean, where it'll give you free procs of your Shadow Bolt based on percentage chance. Sorry, I've been growing my beard out, and it's making me itch. I'm not picking my nose. Shut up. Your instant, or I mean, your damage over time has a chance to proc free Shadow Bolts. So, here's the deal. Not nearly as good, in my opinion, as Hot Streak. All right, because A, Pyroblast is a stronger spell, and B, Hot Streak is guaranteed to proc every time you hit two. No, I forgot. I forgot what I'm talking about. I'm thinking about something totally different, aren't I? Yeah, anytime you score two non-periodic spell criticals in a row using Firebolt, you get Hot Streak, which gives you free Pyroblasts. So that is optimal. I was right. I wasn't wrong. Okay. In this build, though, what we're going to do is you'll see we have some stuff in fire. We have some stuff in frost. We also have a bunch of stuff in arcane. But our main bread and butter, okay, is Shadow Bolt. Now, the reason Shadow Bolt is uh, it's so crucial in this kind of a build, I am really nearby a lot of people and this is annoying me, is the fact that 5, 6, 7, 8 points is all you need. 8 talent essence is all you need to make your Shadow Bolt, generally speaking, about as strong as it's going to be. After that, we've got the Priest, which is going to give us the Shadow form, which is only going to cost you 2 ability essence. So it's something, so it is so cheap to get a really, really strong Shadow Bolt in this game. So everything else that we're doing is either going to be increasing our magic damage, so all of the different types of magic damage that we do, or it's going to be focusing into a different tool that we need, i.e., AoE. So our main bread and butter single target is Shadow Bolt and Shadow Bolt until the cows come home. Okay, so you are just spamming Shadow Bolts like there's no tomorrow. All right, but Our AoE is going to be a combination of both fire and frost. How are we going to do that? We go over here. Don't worry, I will go through the entire build from start to finish here in a second, so that you have it all in one area that you can watch. We're grabbing World in Flames. We're actually going to be using Dragon's Breath and the Flame Strike. With Dragon's Breath gives you a instant cast of Flame Strike from Firestarter, and we're going to be using Blizzard. Okay, you absolutely don't have to do what I'm doing. You can go ahead and you could go like Living Bomb, Dragon's Breath, and Flame Strike, and Rain of Fire, if that's what you want to do. You can go ahead and do that, which would allow you to even go into things like further down into the destruction tree that you might be able to benefit off the fire with. The reason I'm going this route is because Blizzard is very strong, and Blizzard does something that Rain of Fire and Living Bomb does not, and that is Winter's Chill. My Shadow Bolt, because I have a maxed out improved Shadow Bolt, gives a 5% spell critical strike increase to everyone who attacks the target who's using a spell. Okay? We'll go and look at that real quick. Improved Shadow Bolt increases the damage done by 15%. So with Shadow Form, that's going to be 25%. And your Shadow Bolt has a 100% chance to cause your target to be vulnerable to spell damage, increasing spell critical strike against that target by 5%. Okay? Winter's Chill does the same thing, but it's not as useful because they don't overlap. Here's why Winter's Chill in a Frost build is good, because it works on Blizzard. Winter's Chill increases the critical strike chance of your Frost spells, blah. I'm reading ahead. You have a 100% chance to apply Winter's Chill effect, which increases the chance spells will critically strike the target by 1% and reduces their healing received by 7. Stacks up to 5 times. Our Blizzard is going to put that 5% increased spell critical strike on everybody that it's hitting. It's not instantaneous, it grows, but if they're in a Blizzard, they're going to have 5% within a matter of seconds, if they live that long. So, we have that support function working along with all the rest of this. We're going to be increasing everyone's spell damage against targets because we're going to be giving them that extra 5% crit. Okay? Whether it's a single target or it's multi-target, doesn't matter. Also, Blizzard's a very strong spell, and once again, it's another one that's super easy to max out the amount of damage increase you can get. This is 9%. It's only 1% below what my fire damage does with firepower. It's only 1% lower than my shadow, because shadow, I'm getting 10% flat shadow damage off of shadow form. So I've got 10% shadow, 10% fire, and 9% frost. But this is where the other things come in. This is where you're going into arcane. You're grabbing things like magic absorption, 3% increased magical damage. You're going back into warlock. You're grabbing intensity. We do want the reduction to spell pushback, but we also want that 3% magic damage. That's why we're taking this one specifically. You see? So we're getting even more damage based on all of the damages. Okay? And down here in arcane, we're grabbing spell power instead of any of the other ones. Okay? The reason we're doing this is because Dragon's Breath, Flame Strike, Blizzard combo costs a lot. So does constantly nonstop spamming Shadow Bolts. It costs a lot of mana. What spell power does is, of course, it gives you the 100% increased critical strike damage that all of them do. Dealing direct critical damage with a spell while your mana is below 50% taps into raw power, restoring 1% of your total mana each second, and increasing your magic damage by 10%, and your arcane damage by another 5. That other 5 doesn't matter. And it lasts for 10 seconds. What's going to happen inside of dungeons, I've already been to into I think the last one I did was the Botanica and stuff like that. When you're in there, you are going to constantly be draining down to that 50% margin. and then it's going to be sitting there hovering above and below. And then obviously, like say right after a boss fight, you've got things like Innervate and Evocation to work with. I use them both. You don't have to. If you want to do some other things with this build, you might leave Innervate out and just use your Evocation. So keep that in mind. So you get what I'm talking about. We're going after magic damage increases. We're also going after spell power increases because we want more damage to everything we do, not just a very specific amount. And most of you right now would be sitting there going, oh, you would just be better off if you were like, say, a frost mage and you were going into frost. No, that's the key. You already want to be grabbing these things if you're trying to deal the maximum amount of damage that you can on any of those spells. Why? Because most of the lower sections in these aren't very good. There's usually a whole entire area in each one of these talent builds for casters that really isn't that useful. In Frost, you're looking at 3%, 6% more Frost-specific damage that I could get by being down here in Frost. Well, I already get 6% because I've got 3 points into magic absorption, and I've got 3 points into this. I've already got 6% more. So my frost spells are acting as though I have those already. You see what I mean? No, I'm not getting the other effects, but A, this one's stupid and it's useless unless you're playing in like PvP. And this one is okay. It's okay. You know, increasing the amount of movement speed reduction is good, but I'm not using movement speed reduction anyway. See? It's pretty damn good. It really is. So let's go from start. The only other things you need to understand is, of course, we're grabbing Raise from Shaman. And then, of course, elemental weapons with Flame Tongue weapon because we want the maximum amount of spell power that we can get. We want scaling spell power off of Spirit. We want scaling spell power off of Intellect. And we want as much spell power as we can get because spell power is the more important attribute in this specific kind of build because we want as much spell power as possible and as much magic damage done. All right? That's the keys. So let's go ahead and go from top to bottom. Druid, Paladin, and Priest all have stuff that is just buffs. We're running Arcane Brilliance, we're running Gift of the Wild, we're running Greater Blessing of Kings, and we're running Prayer of Spirit because we have scaling crit and spell power. I think it's just crit off of Spirit. So we'll start with Mage. In Arcane, we're grabbing Arcane Intellect, Conjure Water, Conjure Food, Blink, Portal Mastery, which you don't need. You can do something else if you want to. Ritual of Refreshment and Invisibility. Okay? And Evocation. Then we're grabbing Magic Absorption. We're grabbing Student of the Mind. We're grabbing Arcane Mind. Presence of Mind. This is important. We're grabbing those 5 points into Spell Power. 3 points into Mind Mastery. And we're grabbing Arcane Power. So we're obviously scaling spell damage off of Spirit. And we're scaling spell damage off of Intellect. Totally normal. Everybody knows this song and dance. In Fire, we're grabbing Flame Strike and Molten Armor. We're using the combination of Molten Armor and Fell Armor. We're grabbing Whirl and Flames because this is obviously going to increase our Dragon's Breath, our Flame Strike, and our Blizzard. Critical strike chance. We're grabbing 5 points into Fire Power to give us 10% increased fire damage. We're grabbing 3 points into Fire Starter, and we're taking Dragon's Breath. You can absolutely run this with Living Bomb if you want to. I find it a little bit too fiddly to be doing that. I want to focus on Dragon's Breath, Flame Strike, Blizzard combos. That's just me as a person. Like, that's just what I want to do. I don't want to be messing around with anything else. This does plenty of AoE damage. You can use the Living Bombs and Seeds of Corruption if you want to. Then we are in Frost. We're grabbing Blizzard, Frost Nova, and that's it. And we're taking 3 points into Precision. We're taking 3 points into Piercing Ice. We're taking Icy Veins, obviously, because we're going to have Arcane Power and Icy Veins. And we're taking 3 points into Winter's Chill because of what I talked about earlier. Now we're going over to Priest. We're grabbing Divine Spirit. We're also going to grab 3 points into Meditation, which is going to make our spell Critical Strike scale with Spirit even more. Okay. We have 1 point into Enlightenment because I had 1 point left over. That's why it's there. And 1% increase to Spirit, Intellect, and Spell Haste. It's not bad. And then in Shadow, the most important thing, we've got Shadow 4. Then we're going over to Shaman. We just talked about this, so I'll to be really quick. 3 points into Raise to get 6% spell critical strike, and 3 points into Elemental Weapons and Flame Tongue Weapons so that we can get the maximum amount of spell power we can off of our Flame Tongue Weapon. In Warlock, we're grabbing Curse of Elements in Affliction, and we're taking 3 points into Death's Grasp. This is because we needed some more hit. Obviously, later, if you got more hit on your gear, you could swap over to something else if you wanted. In Demonology, we are taking Fell Armor, and that's it. And then in Destruction, we're taking Shadow Bolt, Improved Shadow Bolt, Bane, and Intensity. This is actually a really, really strong build. Anybody who knows what kind of gear I'm running, and I will say this one more time, the gear doesn't really matter. If you're looking to see what kind of gear you should get, you want level 70 purples, and you want gear that's going to be best for your talent build. In Project Ascension, all of the decisions you make are based off of your talent build. If you don't have enough hit in your talent build, you're going to need to get gear that has hit on it. If you don't have enough crit, you're going to need to get some gear that has crit on it. It's that simple. So you're just looking for the level 70 gear. If you want to know where you can get some decent like starter level 70 gear, you want to go down and you want to work on all of these Burning Crusade reputations. That's what they call them. You can see that I'm exalted with Cenarian Expedition. I'm exalted with Thrallmar. Those are the two most important ones you want. And then I'm working on Maghar currently. The reason you want those is because you're going to be able to get the Watcher's Cowl from Cenarian Expedition. You're also going to be able to get Ashen's Gift from Cenarian Expedition, and you'll be able to get the Windcaller's Orb. From Thrallmar, you can get Stormcaller, which is just a nutty single-handed sword for a spellcaster. 159 spell power. That's nuts. You add on to that another 89 because of your Windcaller's Orb. That's crazy. It's crazy talk. And then you have Flame Tongue that's just chilling on top of all of that. Kind of crazy. Let's make sure I'm buffed so you can see my stats. So what we're sitting at right here with this gear, and I still have greens and stuff. I'm still not even done getting all of the gear for this. And then after this, we'll talk about enchantments. I still have lots of stuff that I can upgrade. Lots and lots of stuff to upgrade. And I'm chilling at 1638 bonus spell damage. I'm chilling at an 11% hit rating. So I could actually drop that a little bit if I wanted to, but I think I'm going to leave it. Then crit chance is chilling at 29%, 32 for Frost. Because of why? Did I find something that I can optimize? I don't know. I don't know why my Frost is at 32. It must be an enchant. I don't know. I have no idea why my Frost crit is that high. Okay, well, whatever. All right, so enchants, since I was already in there, enchants, you're going to be looking at things like, Wizard Shadow Bolt, Demonic Shadow Bolt. Those kind of things are going to be really, really good. Other ones of mention is, of course, get Balance of Power, because this can actually reduce the amount of hit that you're going to need, because you get a flat 2% from Balance of Power. So you can actually really reduce the amount of hit that you need with that by 2%. Black Ice is another good one for Frost and Shadow. Increases the damage of them. Then, Necrotic, Dragon's Breath, these kind of things are obvious. Pure Shadow is incredibly good. This is your Shadow Bolt, Shadow Burn, and Shadow Word Death casts. Draw power from your enemies, granting you Pure Shadow. When fully stacked, your Shadow Fury will send Shadow Crash down at the target area. Pure Shadow, critical strike chance with shadow spells increased by 1%, stacks up to 10 times, and lasts 15 seconds. So we're just ramping up our Shadow crit on our Shadow spells. Where was that? I lost it. There we are. Shadow Crash, which I'm not using Shadow Fury at the time, but I can. So keep that in mind. Pure Shadow crashes down at the target area, dealing massive shadow damage spread between affected enemies. So if I want to use that, I can go ahead and just pick up Shadow Fury, which I have tons of ability essence. Let's see what Shadow Fury looks like. I haven't been using it, so Shadow Fury is right here. It's a purple, an epic. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's take it. We'll summon our little dude. You can buy these from the auction house. Just grind out the cash or grind out the gold, and you can buy a Book of Ascension from the auction house. By the way, and let's put it down there. Yeah, let's throw Shadow. What's the cooldown on Shadow Fury? 45 seconds. So I don't really want it on my toolbar. I'll put it way at the outside of my toolbar. Actually, no. I'll put it right here by itself. So what does it do? Oh, cool. All right. So I use that once once it procs over into the thing that's going to do the most. So the single target is just laughable. You literally go Curse of Elements, then you cast a Firebolt or a Shadow Bolt, you instant cast a Palm Pyro, and you just sit here and spam. Obviously, I didn't blow my cooldowns for this, so you're going to see a much higher number if I blow my cooldowns. Here goes the Pure Shadow stacking up. 9%, 10%. There's the thing. And then as soon as this goes, I will drop my Shadow Fury. Boom. 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 And that's our AoE rotation. With Shadow Fury added, now that I realized that I could use that. It's a very, very strong build. Whether it be AoE engagements, taking down trash, or just fighting against a single target boss. It does a lot of damage. You need to remember that even though this says that I only have a 29% shadow crit, that's automatically going to be increased by 5% and then another 6. Okay? 5% from improved Shadow Bolt and then 6% from Bane. Because this includes the Shadow Shadow Bolt. So you're looking at, if I was say at 30, I would be chilling at a 41% crit. Hence why I'm not too heavily into crit. I have some stuff that's giving me crit, but I'm not too heavily into crit because I don't need to be. The only other things with enchantments real quick that I didn't go over was Fierce Mind. If you got a bunch of slots and you're not really sure what you want to put in there, or if you're trying to benefit yourself for a multi-spect class like this, then Fierce Mind is obviously going to be helpful. I'm getting an extra 3, 6, 9% towards my spell power from my spirit. Pretty cool. And see, I haven't even finished like getting all the enchants. It's because this is a low level. The face cloak. I can't believe I haven't got a cloak that's better than this yet. It's just 5 spell power, you know. I'll get one eventually, I'm sure. But still, this character kind of raced up there because it was way stronger than I was expecting it to be. I thought it was going to be meh, but it's actually really strong. So keep that in mind. Now that I know that how Shadow Fury works, I'm going to go ahead and use that right there next to my AoE rotation. So anyway, yeah, try this one out. It's a lot of fun. You're literally just dealing tons and tons of damage, and you're dealing a combination of Shadow, Fire, and Frost. It's pretty cool. The coolest part about this, before we wrap this video up, is what you can do from here. One of the things you can do, which is really cool and a lot of fun to do, is you come into Elemental Shaman, you grab Fire Elemental Totem, and then you go into Warlock, into Demonology, and you grab Inferno, because you can actually use both at the same time. You can drop your Fire Elemental out, drop the Inferno down, and you're going to have a big old infernal demon slashing, or, beating the crap out of them, and your Fire Elemental at the same time. Really, really cool. Is it really that great? I don't know, man. I haven't done the math, but it's pretty darn cool to watch. It's just a cool thing to do. You can feel really cool while you're doing it. And obviously, they're going to do a bunch of damage. So, it's pretty cool. The other choices are things like Hand of Gul'dan. You could go Hand of Gul'dan and summon a bunch of little imps to help you out. Hand of Gul'dan's a good spell. It's got a 20-second cooldown, so it's not something that you can just spam out. But you can summon a bunch of imps. You could do it like this. It's Shadow Flame, so it's going to benefit from your shadow damage and your fire damage increases. So it's really good. There's a bunch of different places to go. You can pick up Shadow Flame. You can go and get Winterfall Fire Breath from up here, and turn your Cone of Cold into a fire spell. Or you could just use Cone of Cold. It's pretty cool. It is really cool. So definitely, this is one of those ones where I was pleasantly surprised with how cool it was. So go ahead, go try it out. I don't know. I'll try to figure out a name for it so I can put a name on the build. But if not, it is what it is. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. My voice is cracking. Like, comment, and subscribe. All that kind of stuff. Thank you to everyone who donates to the channel. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah. Peace out, everybody. I'll see you on the next one.